If you ever gone to the range, your grouping is how close you can get your rounds into one area. So just widen that area, and now you have an INFJ instead of the ISFJ.
Yeah.
Which means most people find them attractive. They can appeal to most people, hence like the Jesus effect. Jesus was an INFJ, but they misuse it because they bounce around in that area. That's why no one can really peg them in. So ISTPs hang out with INFJs often or date them or what have you, right? There's a mutual attraction there. INJs in general are attractive to them for the same reasons that they are attractive to other people, ISTPs. So an INFJ will do what any NJ does, and I know I'm on a tangent. I'm gonna get back to the ENFP
Oh, good.
by misleading people, right? They will allow someone to get right up to a line
You said
and
the
then
INFJ
tell
or
someone
what you saying?
the INFJ,
Okay.
right? They'll let somebody get right up to the line of their boundaries and then tell them, oh, wait, you're too far. And then they'll say, but you walked me up to this point. What are you talking about? I'm too far. I thought this was okay because you walked me up here, right?
Yeah, they might tell you it's okay too because they scared of confrontation. Yeah.
And they will definitely do that. And then they'll walk clean off. And some other types will say, okay, well, all you need to do is tell me and we can talk about it. We can adjust, right?
Yeah.
Communication, perception, understanding the other person's perspective. Those two words have been heavy this week for me. So the ENFP just needs perspective. The ESTJ is not going to teach somebody perspective because they don't understand themselves well enough. Their identity is too low, FI inferior. The INTJ could work along with the ENFP, but they don't want to open up enough because their guard's too high. Any other JE combination will do the same thing. ESFJs are not self-aware enough. And so
Yeah.
every time they get together, the ESFJ will expect certain things out of the ENFP. The ENFP will bust their butt to try to make it happen. And nobody's going to get anywhere because that's a nebulous target they're trying to hit. It's effervescent. It's a cloud, right? You're trying to land on a cloud. It's not there. They don't know what they want. That's why they're always trying to give everybody else what they want, right? And the INFJ is kind of in the same lane. It's hard to tell what they want. They know what they want when they want it, but they don't always want it.
Right.
So yeah, we're heading in this direction, but once we get up to this point, maybe I don't want it anymore. You're going too far. They're moving the goalposts.
Hmm.
Honestly, when I put it that way, I kind of feel bad for ENFPs because all they want to do is love and be loved at the end of the day. And they're constantly surrounded by slash attracted to slash gravitate towards people who don't know what they want. And it's hard to give people what they want so you can be appreciated for it if they don't know what they want.
Exactly.
And that's tragic. I feel bad for them. I still don't like them that much right now, but because they don't care to think that far through it, they're just going to keep trying, which
I get
means,
a will, I say, sometimes.
what does that mean?
Meaning, like, let's say if it's not a good, like, let's say if the ENFP is not a healthy person or they're like a toxic person, I would get along with them still. You know what I'm saying? And
You'll go
then,
along with it. If it makes
yeah, I
sense
have to
to you,
stop
yeah.
it, like, consciously be like, okay, I can't, be around this person. It's not good. You know?
The ideal ESTJ, you could say henchman, sidekick, or whatever, but partner is what it really is. Partner in crime, if you will, is the ISTP for that reason.
Except for the
Because that,
ESTJ. Oh yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I used to say that too. I was thinking that too because I get along with him real well. If I'm on a project with the ESTJ, we would do real well on that project.
there you
Like
go. But
we'll
you're
get
both
everything
willing to
done.
do what's necessary to get it done, right?
Yep.
Whereas if you're in the same group with the same project and the same intentions, you have the same resources available, time, energy, distance from each other, whatever, the ENFP will help you lollygag to the point where you may not actually finish. And that's
Right.
the only difference is their partner and you would suddenly just get an F.
That would happen probably. Yeah.
So, because all they want is to be looked at in a certain light, which is why you always have, like in Bridgerton is another good example. What's his name? The eldest brother after, or second eldest brother? I think it's the eldest brother, the Viscount after his dad dies, right? You can tell I watch a lot of shows with women. Anyway, family
I had an
stuff.
ex that watched that show.
So it's a good show. It's worth watching. ESTP. But he has this respect my authority type situation, right? And it's not until he releases demand of that and starts doing the practical and pragmatic things necessary, managing the finances properly, earning people's respect instead of demanding it, not looking towards the position to fulfill his desires, but instead looking to fulfill desires in order to fulfill his position, leading by example, right? That's when he gets his respect. ISTPs kind of just give respect unilaterally until people disearn it.
Yeah.
And I think that's an undersold trait of ISTPs. We should probably appreciate ISTPs better for that, because that means everybody's starting with a clean slate until they mess up. And if you are in an ISTP's bad side or on it, that's because you did something and you need to clarify that, or at least make it make sense to them. If you make it make sense to a TI Dom, they will ride with whatever.
Yeah.
It's the ESTJ who knows, or the ENTJ INTPs who knows sometimes you're going to have to like go against the grain in order to make things happen. Sometimes you're going to have to leave the group to, build your thing and then come back and help people do their thing or offer them what you have or whatever case may be. If you're cool with like riding through that process, you're golden.
Yeah.
But if you have work to do and people are allowed to just let you not do the work, ITPs, then you're not going to grow. You're going to lollygag, and it's going to be cool until it's not cool and everybody gets an F on the project.
Right.
Tough
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Tough stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
Who else? Who is this? Nice nails. Who is this? I don't know this. ESTJ?
Far too drunk, sloppy.
Oh, yeah, that's the ESTJ. So that ENFP we just saw is with her. This is her INFP with her friends, right? Subconscious and ego are both in the positive portions of your quadrants. And then if you wanted to put them in like a 2 square type situation, 4 square type situation with the cherry bombs and all that, right? The little boxes. The top 2 will be your positive, the bottom 2 will be your negative. Shadow and super ego will be there. Her shadow is also a T, but her super ego is an ENFJ. So imagine like the most negative ENFJ you could ever come up with,
Yeah.
like in your mind, right? Vindictive. Instead of being a paladin for good, they're a paladin for evil, right? Like a
And
chaos
the thing
salamander.
is, they would think they're being good, in some way. They
And they think they're doing the right thing
Yeah.
because
Sometimes. Yeah.
they're setting a wrong right in their mind. But the problem with that is it only has to be in their mind, and sometimes it's not always right.
Yeah.
But an ISTP, if you make it make sense to them, they'll go along with it.
And then they use
Boom.
that inferior TI to give themselves reasons to keep doing it. Yeah.
That part. Because at the end of the day, the reason I believe ISFPs and ISTPs, like ISPs, hang out in the same areas or gravitate towards each other is because you have very similar roles within society and your purposes are very closely aligned. So there's a kinship there. Same as with the ENFP, same with an ENTP. We're here to help perceivers in general, right? We're here to help. That's our whole goal. Look at all of our child functions, and that's all the proof you really need, honestly. So like TE